Hey there, and welcome back to another video of the Twilight Wars browser app series. Today's video, we're going to be going over the newest update, update 1.10. Quite a few important changes to go over, so we'll jump into it here by looking at what's new. Game component wise, big change for the Federation of Soul promissory note. Previously in the app, the Federation of Soul player was required to have a strategy token. It's no longer the case. So player who's in possession of that promissory note will be able to use that to their advantage, whether or not the Soul player has a strategy token available. Another big change here are these action cards that should have been allowed to have been played as stall events, but previously the app would not allow you to. So for example, with economic initiative, the app used to require you to have a cultural planet, and of course for it to have been exhausted, but now whether or not you have such planets is irrelevant. Same idea for industrial initiative, mining initiative, as well as tactical bombardment. So you'll now be able to play those as component actions purely for stall capabilities. The biggest feature implementation of update 1.10 is the implementation of player elimination. So previously in the app, there was no player elimination if anyone ever got to that point. Players who were theoretically eliminated from the game would either have to keep passing, or it's possible that they could have still had ships and such, as well as just trading with other players. However, now, if a player ever meets the conditions for elimination, we'll see that they are no longer required to be present in the game as well. They won't be able to trade with other players, and we'll be demoing that specifically in a bit. Another really big change and a useful one is the ability now to see the discard piles for the action card deck and the agenda deck. And a very nice quality of life change is your active games. In your games tab in your profile view will now be sorted by games where it's your turn, and they're going to appear at the top of the list. So big update. And let's go ahead and head over to our games tab, and we're viewing Alice's tab. So as you can see, the game where it's our turn shows up at the top here. And we're actually going to hop into the other game because we want to showcase elimination. But before we showcase elimination, I'd like to just show the discard piles. So you'll notice, going over to the right here, that the agenda deck and the action card deck now have this trash can icon at the top right. And if you click those, you'll get a searchable list of discarded cards. So for example, if I click on the agenda deck here, you'll see we get this view with all the discarded agendas as well as a search capability. So for example, if I was searching for Minister of Peace, I could start typing in Minister, and we'll see that we get filters there for the card we're searching for. So that's a nice little feature there. And as well for the action card deck, the same idea. Say I'm looking to see if the sabotage has been played. And there we have it. So there would be 3 left in the game deck. So there's your discard views. Very useful tool to have. Okay, up next, I want to showcase elimination. So let's take a look at the current state of the board here. We're playing as the red player, Alice as the Clan of Sar. Now, I'm trying to click my planet card deck, and you'll notice nothing's showing up, and that's because I actually have control of no planets, even though I have units here in my home system. You can see there's no tokens or infantry or structures or control tokens and whatnot. And we have some units up here as well. but again, control of no planets. Now, looking at these systems, if I click on the space region, I have no infantry here as well. I have no infantry here. So that meets 2 of the 3 elimination criteria. Number 1, you have no more planets in your control. Number 2, you have no more infantry or ground forces under your control. The final criteria is that you have no more units that are capable of production. And we have one such unit right now, and that's our floating factory. So if we were to lose this floating factory, then what should happen is we should be eliminated from the game as a player, meaning all our game components should be non-effective, meaning all our action cards will be returned to the deck, or rather to the discard pile. So you can actually see I currently don't have any, but other thing like our secret objectives, once we are eliminated, this will get returned to the secret objective deck. And actually the secret objective deck will be reshuffled because there is no discard pile for that. Our technology will be returned to the technology deck. So we won't have this technology, as well as all our player info will be rendered, will disappear, and we'll see that. And finally, any promissory notes that other players have that belong to us will be returned to us. And any promissory notes we have will be returned to other players. As well, when support for the thrones are given back, 1 victory point will be subtracted if possible from the player's victory point total. So I think I've set this up that we've actually given away one of our promissory notes. So taking a look at our promissory note deck, you'll actually see we're missing our ceasefire here. And heading over to this player, Bob's tab. Actually, let's log in here into the game, the same game. And we'll see that Bob is in possession. So as we're playing as Alice is the red player, and you'll actually notice that Bob has our ceasefire. So when we show the elimination, we'll see that the ceasefire will go back to Alice's hand. So let's go ahead and proc this elimination. It's currently Charlie's turn. Charlie is the Nalu Collective, the green player. So there's a few ways here that Charlie can eliminate us. The first is through a dislodge of the space dock through PDS fires. So you'll see here, I'm hovering over these PDSs, that Charlie has 4 PDSs in this system. So we activate the system and we move our destroyer in, assuming we land 1 hit, the fighter will be gone, and then the floating factor will be dislodged, and that will result in the elimination of Alice. So I think that's the route we're going to take here. So let's go ahead and activate the system. And then we're going to pass on ability resolution. As well, I'm going to have the game log open here just to show what's about to happen, at least in Alice's tab. So we'll go ahead and move our destroyer and be prompted here to shoot our 4 space cannons. Hopefully we land at least 1 of them. We hit with 3. So going back over to Alice's tab now, we have 3 hits to assign. First we'll pass on the ability round. And now, clicking on the active system, we will assign 1 of the hits to our ships. And now keep your eye on the game log here and the board. I guess can't really do both at once. I'll just tell you what to expect. Once we assign this hit, the space dock, or the floating factory rather, will be blockaded. And so that will prompt a removal of all of Alice's units from the board. We'll see a log here stating that Alice is eliminated, and then we'll see in the player info tab that Alice's information will be rendered gone. So assigning the hit, we see that the red units are now gone. The game log shows we've assigned the hit, as well that Alice has been eliminated from the game. Going over to the player info tab, we'll collapse Bob and Charlie's tab, and we'll see Alice is no longer an expandable tab. Alice has just been eliminated. You can still view the faction info. However, there is nothing left for Alice to do. Closing this, clicking the secret objective deck, no secret objectives, our technology is gone, as well as our strategy cards are gone. You'll notice now there's 4 strategy cards in the public display for them. They've been returned to the play area. And yeah, so Alice is gone from the game. Let's see if we can't even trade anymore. If you look at the bottom right, there is no that plus sign there. If we actually go back over to Charlie's tab now, it's still his turn. He needs to end his turn. If he tries to trade with Alice here, you'll see Alice's icon doesn't even show up anymore. And the final thing is, recall going over to Bob's tab, that Bob had the ceasefire promissory note of Alice, but it's actually gone now. It's been returned to Alice. And going over to Alice's tab, Alice has their ceasefire promissory note there. So that's been returned to them. Now let's just demo a little bit further to show that Alice won't be prompted for other abilities now. So first Charlie's going to pass, and it'll go on to Bob's turn. Now let's suppose Bob plays construction, or actually, let's see here. Do we have any action cards? No, let's just activate a system somewhere. I'm just going to quickly get past Bob's turn and not do anything. And then we'll see. So it was Charlie, Bob. So if Bob passes, previously the game would go back to Alice now, but now we'll see we confirm the pass, and the turn goes right back to Charlie. So Alice is not considered here. Now let's play politics or trade maybe. Let's play politics. We'll confirm our choice with politics. We'll resolve the strategy. Now you'll notice here that Alice is still a valid selection according to this screen, and Alice is the red player. So if we try to choose Alice, it'll just fail silently here. You won't be able to choose them as speaker anymore. You'll have to choose someone else. So choose the only other valid player, which is ourselves. And now we'll get the agendas. And now you'll see the game has gone over to Bob to resolve the secondary. And Alice was not asked to perform the secondary there. So those are just a couple of instances. There's also the agenda phase where Alice will be completely skipped on. Basically every other part in the game, Alice will no longer be a participant in. Now, Alice can still load into the game. So going back to Alice's tab, if we click the home button and we go back to the game, we can still act as a spectator here, even though we're eliminated. And we can still participate in the chat. So we can still talk to other players, and other players, go over to Bob's tab, can still talk back. So effectively, Alice has been put into spectator mode there. And I believe that's pretty much it for the update. A lot there. I wanted to speak to the update and why we decided to put all these things in now. I think we're kind of gearing up for trying to get the game tournament ready. I know we've been talking about it a bit in the Discord. So these updates here kind of reflect what we were viewing as priorities in order to get the app into a tournament ready mode, right? Because if you're playing a tournament, it wouldn't be very good if you had to if you were eliminated and you were forced to just stay and participate so that the other players could keep playing, and B, there were other things like not being able to see the action card discard piles, the cards that weren't being able to use as stall tactics. So that those from a competitive point of view would really hinder a tournament experience, I think. Now, with that being said, there is, I think, still one major feature that we want to implement before we start organizing a tournament, and that's probably the ability to scuttle ships during building production. So I don't usually talk about what's coming up in future updates, but that's probably something you can expect to see in the next update. Because again, we're really pushing here to try to get the app ready for a live tournament setting. And I'm really looking forward to that. I want to include a prize pool. I want to get the community engaged. I think a tournament would be a really good thing. If you want more information on that, I really strongly suggest signing up on the Discord. If you're not sure what the Discord is, I'll show you. You can go in over to help, and you have the Discord link here. As well, subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay up to date on updates as they go live. So yeah, you can look forward to that update basically that I was talking about with scuttling ships coming soon, hopefully, as well as more news on prize pool tournaments in the near future, I hope. I don't want to guarantee anything, but I really think it would be really nice to get. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoy update 1.10, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.